Reece, West Ham United this week play their first ever game in the Europa League group stages. I've been grappling with this. I know it's a bit of a sort of tabloidy thing to say, headline grabber or whatever, but someone asked me in the lead up to the game, is this the biggest game that I've watched in my life? And I'm like West Ham game since I've been alive, or my West Ham watching career. I'm 29 now. And I immediately said no, because I said, well, no, the 2006 Cup final was bigger than that for sure. Obviously, we drew it, so sharing that with Liverpool was brilliant. And the playoffs were equally excellent as well. But playing in those games doesn't necessarily guarantee that you've performed to an elite level over a season, does it? Not that we didn't fluke the cup by any means at all. But what's your stance on that, about where this game ranks in the biggest West Ham games in your lifetime?
Yeah, well, I'm a bit the same as you, mate. I've been lucky enough to have been to quite a lot more games that have sort of meant more. I think if you want to call it this new era since we've been at the London Stadium, then possibly, this would be on par with maybe the first game at the stadium. Can't remember
I'd say it trumps that. Yeah.
Oh no,
if you're talking,
I'm saying is as in at the London Stadium. Certainly not, previous, but
I thought you meant the Juve friendly.
yeah. But yeah, I don't. It's a massive game for us to see. Also to see where we're at. We think we've got some very good players, exciting players, and all these European sides are all very underestimated. We're not Man City, we're not Barcelona. I think we are. It's going to be very, very tough. But it's enjoyable, the fact that we've got 6 games in it for once, and we're not playing a dreaded playoff against a load of like Andorran farmers. Do you know what I mean? Who just turn up and beat us. So it's going to be, and again, we touched on it a couple of weeks ago after the draw. As much as I think some fans were disappointed with locations, I think the draw's been pretty reasonable. So hopefully we can sort of push on in it.
Yeah. It's definitely, for me, hands down the biggest game of the London Stadium era for sure. And ultimately, you know what, I would say, I'd say it's the second biggest game of my life. I think the playoff finals were brilliant, but just the fact that we're saying playoff finals, that we've done more than one, they've come around more often. And, we've been in the Premier League for most of the time I've been alive. So the 2 times that we were out of it, we've had 3 seasons since I can remember, West Ham, where we haven't been in the top flight. So I sort of looked what we were getting off the back of those. This and the FA Cup final, once in a lifetime occasions, like in my West Ham watching career, if you like. And I'm delighted. I was always looking forward to it and like calling for it last season and all that. And fans go, I'm not so sure about it. It just baffles me beyond belief that anyone isn't absolutely buzzing for this tournament. And I know Man United and Arsenal hilariously have treated it with somewhat contempt in the past, but no one treated it like that when it was the UEFA Cup. Just the fact that it changed nights and they meddled with the format a bit, so there was a few more teams in it. When it was the UEFA Cup, everyone was like absolutely buzzing off of it, weren't they? Yeah. And it's just because the narrative now has changed, all driven by the big clubs, as always, just the same as they do with the League Cup and the FA Cup and all that. Just it doesn't suit their agenda. They sort of like encourage sneering at it. Well, we're not a big club. Like, I'd take a League Cup final, I'd snap your hand off for one of those. But to be in the Europa League proper, with a reasonable chance of getting through as well, I'm just so excited. It's just brilliant. It's just really, really good. Like, I was quick to do the old 3 tickets straight away for the home games. Try and get to an away one if I can. It's brilliant. Like, we've waited for so long. And your tweet, we'll move on to it in a little bit, mate, but you put a tweet out it might have been today or yesterday, that really resonated with me, and I just sort of encapsulated it perfectly when you said we've been like desperate to get into a European competition for years and years and years, and fans are talking about resting players. I mean, that to me, this should take priority over anything else we do this season, 100%, particularly the group stages. Because all right, if you end up getting through and you get knocked out to Napoli or Marseille, so be it. But it's 6 games, isn't it? I'd happily have lost the Southampton and Crystal Palace games. Yeah, I know it doesn't always work like that, but if Moyes got a decision, I don't know which game to like this week. Let's be honest, we're more than likely to lose to Man United anyway. If it's a case of going full 100% both barrels at the Europa League game on Thursday, and then losing 5-0 instead of 1-0 to Man United, well, give me that every single day of the week, mate. Absolutely every single day of the week. I literally cannot wait for it.
I think you've got to, as fans and as the football club, we've actually got in there this year on merit.
Not fewest yellow cards.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You think, like the last season at Upton Park, we obviously got in it in the qualifying stage. But every time that I've seen us in Europe, going back to the 90s in the Anglo-Italian Cup, you'd have about 3,000 fans at Upton Park. We had to obviously win the Intertoto Cup for coming 5th. I know the format was different then. So we've actually got in it on merit. So, the players that have got us there have got to have a good crack at it. And I honestly, I can't believe how, and not having a massive dig or anything, but I was reading some today where people were saying they'd play Yarmolenko up front. It's like this is a competition where we've been wanting to get in it. We're different now in the league. I understand years gone by, if we ever have a thing about Europe, as I say, because we don't always get in it the right way, it can and it will ultimately affect our league form. But we're 4 games in, we're unbeaten. There's 34 to play. Yes, we've got Man United. Yes, we've got tricky games after the Europa League games. But you know what I mean? This is the game. I can't. But if I was a player there, if I was a Declan Rice, if I was one of the Czech boys, even Bowen, and I didn't get picked because I was going to have a rest, I'd be fuming.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. There's no way these players have worked their socks off last season to get us there, to achieve potentially the biggest thing the club's achieved in my living memory. Imagine that. Declan, you're on the bench, son. What? I played in the Euros final for England last year. I'd be getting in any decent team's Champions League side starting 11 if I moved. No, I'm not. No, I'm not on the bench. What? I am going to give Alex Kral a run out today? No. All of them must be, surely, mate, must be knocking on the door. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Souček and Soufal, who obviously played with an esteemed Czech side, so have inevitably played in the tournament before. Maybe they're happy to sit on. I can't even fathom that. Can you? That any of those players who were outstanding and worked so hard and played out their skin to get us there last season and were heralded for it, rightfully so, that any of them would sit this one out, boss. No one's going to want to do that, are they? Surely he's got to go strongest side.
I know we obviously wouldn't know now, but the Antonio thing, I think a lot of fans might have thought, well, blimey, we're going to be playing Thursday and Sunday. The amount of work rate he puts in, and obviously we haven't got that problem now. So you'd expect him to play 90 minutes, providing you don't get injured or anything. So, I might be totally wrong, mate. It'll be interesting to see what Moyes does, but they've come out of a tough game Saturday, probably physically for the players, especially the ones that have been on international duty. But you know what I mean? Back at training yesterday or today, thinking we've got a European game Thursday. Players like your Nobles and people like that. Noble I bet he'll be flying around the place, getting everyone going. And I don't think you should really have to, because they should know the magnitude of that game, especially for the fans, because we do wait a long time to to get in Europe. We even wait a long time to get in like the quarterfinals of domestic cups. So
Yeah.
we've got to. He's got to be looking at this and thinking, do you know what? Especially at the start, let's see what we're up against. We've got 2 home games after this first game.
Yeah.
And then later down the line, maybe you can tinker about it. Certainly the League Cup game. I know what you said earlier about, our squad's not massive, but at least you can chuck a few of them in. But I'll be very, very disappointed Thursday if it's not pretty much the side that played Saturday, but Zuma in.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe even giving Areola a game, I can't imagine Fabianski being all right with that, unless he's had an agreement with Areola. That's the only change I could potentially see if he says, because he's a decent-ish keeper, isn't he? Like, I can't imagine he would have been happy to just go, right, you are just number 2. I reckon he'd have had to say, you're the cup keeper. Surely just said to Fab.
I don't think his debut will be until Man United Wednesday week.
Oh, you don't think he'll play Thursday?
No, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe. I
know people are pushing at it, but Fabianski will have his clean sheet in his back pocket to say, look, we've done this Saturday, so I don't. I might be thinking about it a bit too much, but I've certainly seen a lot of fans which you're probably right sometimes, to be a little bit cautious, but this don't happen too often, mate.
Yeah, no, you're totally right, mate. You're totally right, and I just think, we've covered it already. It's huge, and like you say, if we're in a fortunate position where maybe we win the first 4 or get a decent run, and we can afford to rest them later on in the group stage, happy days. Until then, I think that Man United League game, though, Reece, you might. I think they're going to be offering places on the bench for people with 35 plus season ticket loyalty points. So. The one thing, Reece, so the actual logistics of the game, just a quick one to anyone listening. We're hoping to have a chat with a Croatian football podcast tomorrow. I'm recording this Monday. Podcast will go out Tuesday night as always. So yes, we're hoping to chat to Croatian football podcast tomorrow on Tuesday. So that's not certain yet. So forgive me if that doesn't end up going on the final recording. But just some sort of logistics side of things on the game. Reece, Zagreb, the Dinamo Zagreb have got a big stadium, 1,200 tickets, I think it was. In the end, 1,243 was West Ham's allocation. They got a big stadium, but forgive me if I'm wrong, but there was an earthquake in Zagreb, which I believe has affected the stadium and has affected their ability to welcome as many fans as they usually would. Sort of mixed reports, mate. Thousands of West Ham fans are expected to sort of descend on Zagreb this week, is some of the news lines or whatever. 1,200 tickets or whatever. I don't know. There was some people getting a little bit irate that some of them have gone to sponsors and London club members. That's the way of the world these days, isn't it? Really. What are you sort of expecting for? There's reports saying West Ham fans shouldn't be wearing Nikola Vlasic shirts. What's your views on the logistics side of things ahead of the game?
We've got a very good following away from home. So, I reckon at least 85-90% of the people that are going are people that probably go. You've got to go on their advice. I understand you've got to go and pick up a voucher, or the club send you a voucher, which you exchange for your ticket and a bit of photo ID. So, it's you're going into a bit of the unknown, aren't you, really? So, but we travel well, pre-season tournaments and things like that. We always travel well. So, I'm sure that the people that go over there are be right up for it.
Yeah, there's a funny article I read. Reece said West Ham fans heading to Zagreb this week have been advised not to wear shirts with the name of £33 million new boy Nikola Vlasic because he started his career at Dinamo Zagreb's fierce rivals Hajduk Split. And they shouldn't wear shirts sporting the name of former Hamad Davor Suker either. Well, if there's a single West Ham fan out there these days that has got a Davor Suker shirt still and can send us in a picture, be that on Twitter or at @WeAre_West Ham or via our email, I will personally buy you a pint, because I can't see that anyone has got. Even at the time, I'd have thought they were a bit of a rarity, but no way, surely can anyone have a flipping Davor Suker shirt? Well, I mean, the quick turnaround and COVID hasn't helped, to be honest, has it? To be quite, as far as the travelling goes, the feeling I seem to get is that, given that they've had a bit more time, supporters are a bit keener to head to Vienna and to Genk in Belgium. Those are certainly the two that I'm targeting. But whatever way you look at it, mate, it's an exciting time, isn't it? Be it for those of us watching it at home, or in the stadium. What do you make of the awkward kickoff time?
To be honest, mate, it's perfect for me this week. As I've mentioned before, it's my wedding anniversary. So, I'll be having a nice meal, sitting in front of the telly, watching us at 5:45. So,
Yeah.
It's. I think with it all, it's again, it's just something new to us, isn't it? So, I think you're right. I think a lot of people might be, let's see how the first one goes. Then we've got a couple of home games. And then you might see, depending on how we're doing as well, I reckon you'll see a lot of travelling after that. So
yeah.
I think one of these last two at 5:45 as well. I think, is it? Sorry, mate. One of the last. I think they're one of them's 5:45 as well. I think.
I imagine, yeah. To be honest, they could be kicking off at 5:45 on Thursday morning, and I'd still be absolutely buzzing for it. But yeah, look.